Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I'm here again with another crypto video for all you newbies out there who are trying to understand the world of cryptocurrency a little bit better. So what I want to cover today is how I research coins. So what makes a coin worth my investment, worth my time? I'm very particular about what I put my money into generally. And I go through this process every time before I make a decision on whether to invest in a coin or not. So I'm going to give you my 5-step strategy as to how to research a coin, how to know if it's a good one, and whether it's got kind of this winning formula, I suppose. This is just how I do it. Obviously, as the name suggests, you should always do your own research and maybe find other ways to do this, but for me this has worked and I've made quite a lot of money this bull cycle by following this formula. So let's just get straight into it, and yeah, we'll start off. So very first thing I look at when I'm looking at a coin is I look at the activity of the coin. So how do I do this? So I'm going to take Theta as an example. So Theta is one of my favorite coins. I really like it. It's not been like really pumping lately, which is good because if you guys, I think it's a good price now. Anyway, you do your own research, but this is how I would go about investigating something like Theta. So I would go onto CoinMarketCap firstly. Another one that you can go onto is CoinGecko, and they're both kind of the same. CoinGecko generally has newer coins in it. CoinMarketCap kind of takes on more established coins, even though there's hundreds and hundreds here. I just know that some more unique coins maybe aren't on CoinMarketCap as soon as they are on CoinGecko. I still prefer CoinMarketCap. So Theta coin here, I'm just going to search it, go to Theta here. Okay, so what I want to see here is the volume. So right now, in the last 24 hours, $279 million dollars has been exchanged in the Theta exchange, essentially, which means that there's a lot of interest in this. Like in the millions per day, that's crazy. That's a lot of people that are kind of interested in this. A lot of money's flowing through it. And that's my first thing is if it's a dead coin and it's only seeing, a couple of thousand, it's a risk. Oh, getting a message from Nicola. So that's it. So the volume is really important as your first step to, is there other people interested in this? Theta, there is. That's quite a large amount of interest and activity. The next thing I would do is check Twitter. I would check Reddit, Telegram, other kind of social media platforms. Usually on CoinMarketCap, you can go straight to that as well under community. So I can check Theta's Twitter here or Reddit there. Okay, so yeah, Theta, the last time they posted was May 15th. It is May 16th, so that was yesterday. Again, they're on it. They're still talking. It's an active team. That's a really good sign as well. Same with Reddit. Are people talking about it? Do people like it? And it's just another way of seeing, is the coin active? Any recent news as well, you can sometimes get that from CoinMarketCap. So any kind of news sometimes can be at the bottom here about it. They also, if I was going to do it, I would look up YouTube, and I would make sure that there are people talking about Theta on YouTube. Does Theta have its own YouTube channel, which would be great? But yeah, we have some from 4 hours ago, 16 hours ago, 23 hours ago, and loads of information on it. So that's good as well. People are talking about Theta, which is a good sign from my perspective. And then the last thing I would check is the calendar. So I would go to CoinMarketCal, which is a great way of figuring out if there is any kind of upcoming events, is another great way to see if they're still active, essentially. So we'll search for this, and is there anything happening for Theta? Yeah, they're launching their 3.0 mainnet, which is always a huge deal, and that's coming on the 30th of June. So that's a really good source. That's a really good source of information at the get-go for activity. So I would say Theta kind of scores maybe, an 8 out of 10 there. I would like to see a little bit more on their Twitter. I would have liked to see a little bit more news about them, but overall, lots of information flowing, lots of money flowing, and it's a good activity level. The next thing I'd look at is the team. So the team is really important. So we'll go into the Theta website here. So this is thetatoken.org. Let's go in and check out the team, and we'll see how they go. So this is the countdown to the mainnet launch, which generally means coins spike either just before it, and then there might be a bit of a dump afterwards. But overall, if you're in it for the long term, that shouldn't matter too much, essentially. But anyway, we'll just go to team here. We have co-founder, CEO, CTO. I would check, what their experiences? Are they in computer science? Do they have any blockchain experience? Have they worked with other big companies? Do they seem legit? Another way to check this is to actually go onto their LinkedIn profile and see what else they've done. So right now it's like co-founder of Tapjoy. I might want to see what Tapjoy is. Gameview Studios. So this person's obviously kind of a serial entrepreneur, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. You don't want to see someone who's, worked in a company for 2-3 months and then left every time, because potentially that is, they might have been let go, might not have been able to stick around. Like, you just wonder what's kind of going on in that sense. But yeah, so these three kind of leadership, they're doing really well. Like, it looks like they've all had good experience in the past, some PhDs here, and generally I would go and check them out a little bit more on LinkedIn. Now, the blockchain team. So one thing to notice about the team is that it should be a big team. So like, blockchain and cryptocurrency projects are essentially mini companies. And if they don't have a big team, if they've got less than 10 people, I generally doubt the future of the coin, because I don't see how they could have a real world use case with that few people. Now, it might expand, and at that point I would be interested, but while it's still so small, it's extremely risky, and I would be careful about how much money I put into it. If I thought potentially everything else is a 10 out of 10, but the team is a little bit soft, I might put a little bit of money into it and just watch how that team grows, because I do think the team is super important. I would look for interviews with the team members on YouTube. I would look for, tweets that they're sending out, things like that. Any advisors or investors as well is super important. So these are the investors and media advisors. So we've got Steve Chen from the co-founder of YouTube, amazing advisor. So that's great. We have more advisors here who all have great names. Sony, Twitch. We've got Microsoft, Rakuten, Verizon, all these companies that are really legit. And the fact that they're advising the Theta team member on how to, move forward with this idea, that's fantastic. In terms of investors, there's a couple of investors that are obviously really great and some that are not so great. I'll do a separate video on that, I think, just because that's a whole other topic in itself. But straight off the bat with Theta, you can see that Samsung is an investor, amazing. Sony is an investor, amazing. All these kind of ones. Now, again, I'll go through which ones are good and bad in the next one, but just those two off the top of my head as I see it, that looks great. So that's fantastic. Those investors are, actively invested in this kind of project being a success, and that gives me more confidence. So in terms of team, while I haven't looked at the LinkedIn profiles, well, I have because I love Theta. To be honest, I would give the team a 9 out of 10 because I do think it's a fantastic team with great investors and great advisors. So the next thing I would look at is the idea. So is the idea something that you'll actually use and like and use in the future? So in this case, I would watch YouTube videos trying to understand what the concept is. I might go and download what's called a white paper. So up here, so we've got the white paper 3.0. Again, white papers can be quite difficult to read, especially if you're not used to cryptocurrency terminology or blockchain terminology. I use them as kind of a secondary source. So I do try and look up the team on YouTube, try and get it through videos. That's just the way that I learn a lot better. And so, I would look at trying to understand the idea. Does it work? Does it not? But the Theta, what it is essentially a decentralized video streaming platform, and so that's why I think it's great. I think it could potentially take over from YouTube because it's just going to allow for better quality and faster uploads to YouTube and than YouTube, and ultimately kind of change the game in how we stream and share content and things like that. So that's what I've learned from it. But again, go watch videos on it, or else I'll do a video on Theta, what it is separately, but I do think it is a fantastic thing. So in terms of the idea, that's what I'd want to make sure that I understand it and that I like it, and also that I would use it. So like, do I see myself ever interacting with this in the future? With Theta, if I was on a decentralized video streaming platform, I would use it for sure. Okay, the next thing is the future of the coin. So the future of the coin all comes down to the roadmap. It comes down to the news that's coming out about it. It comes down to upcoming events that are happening about it. And so for Theta here, for example, we do a roadmap here. All cryptocurrency, if you go to their main site, will show the roadmap that they have. And if they don't, that's a big red flag. But so we're in Q2 here in 2021. They've shown what they did in Q2. Now they're doing Q2. Sorry, they showed what they did in Q1. Now they're showing what they do in Q2. And so we've got the mainnet launch. which means that we're going to be able to stake, and there's going to be the introduction of elite edge nodes. Again, don't worry about it too much, but essentially you want to see that things are going to happen in the next kind of quarter or two so that the value of the coin will go up eventually, and that's a big thing if you're trying to make some money out of this. So look at the roadmap. Does it seem to have exciting things upcoming, or have you kind of missed the wave? Is it just like the last stages of them launching this? Are they kind of stagnant? Do they not have, you know, ambitious goals? All that kind of stuff can be seen in the roadmap, which is great. Other thing, obviously news, you can get that from Twitter, you can get that from the coin market cap. There's also other news outlet sources, like Buzz, Altcoin Buzz or something like that. I can't remember the name exactly, but look for news on Theta. You know, like we could even just search Theta news, and that would, you know, from the Nasdaq, is Theta token the next Ethereum or the next Dogecoin? The Fool.com, there's loads of things here, and then we've got kind of their Twitter on what's happening. This is what I would do. Look through all this. Oh, Cointelegraph, that's the kind of news outlet, and that was from the 1st of 2021. Yeah, just look for some news. Are there kind of interesting things coming up that people are talking about, and that should, again, stir some emotion into it, stir some commotion even, and get people invested in as well, which ultimately makes your profit greater. That's the main 4 things that I would look at, and I would basically score them, and if I feel like it's a good idea to invest in it, I would then put in money. Now, the thing that I would like to talk about in terms of bonus content is knowing your strategy. So Theta, I believe in. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great team. I think it's got great investors, great advisors. I'm putting a lot of money into Theta because I think it's going to do well. And I think as well that a big thing with it is to understand where it is in its trajectory. So Theta kind of pumped here and then it's come down. I don't want a coin that is in the middle, like literally at the top here through a parabolic shoot up in terms of like everyone is suddenly into it. It will dip again, and I want to catch those dips. So I invested at, I think it was $3, $3.50, shot up, and then I've been kind of catching the bounces every time, collecting the dips, and that's been really successful for me. And I think Theta will shoot back up again. So right now it's at a stage where I truly believe in the company, truly believe in the idea, and I think it's going to shoot up again. So in that sense, I think it's at a really good point now where it's at $10. It has reached, I think it was nearly $15. It didn't quite reach it, but just below it. So I think it 100% can hit that again. If not, you know, $60 to $80 is my prediction. Obviously, totally out, you know, that's from my perspective what I think it could do. But yeah, so that's it. I think it's a good one. Another one as well is just to look at the market cap. So if we look at Theta compared to other coins, so over here it is number 21. So it has a market cap of 10 billion, which is pretty small actually in comparison to other coins here. So we've got, like, you know, the likes of Polkadot, that's 41 billion, trillion? No, billion, I'm sorry. I was like, what? Yeah, so Bitcoin is obviously nearly hitting the trillion mark. Ethereum, again, we're at nearly half a trillion. And this is just like huge numbers. So for it to get to the point that Binance Coin is, and that is like, you know, an ecosystem where people can build and share things through blockchain, similar idea to Theta, we could have, you know, a 10x gain in that sense. And so to multiply my money by 10, I think Theta is a great idea. Now, if you wanted, you know, that's long-term stuff. I think my money is safe enough in Theta that I'm happy to put in large amounts of money. But if it was something that I was less convinced about, so say if I went into the second or third page, so let's go to this one, 6, if there's anything here. So this is number 500 of market cap. They've only got 65 million in this BAX coin or BAB coin. And so in this one, if I thought like, do you know what, I've done all the research, I think it's great, it's only, you know, it's less than 1 cent, I'm going to put some money into it, and that hopefully will do well. With this one, I would not put as much money into it because it is a risk, but my, you know, $100 or $200 potentially could do a 500,000x, you know, the kind of way. So it just makes, it's kind of your risk profile that you have to really understand before you start investing. Other bonuses that I want to talk about is just not to listen to hype, not to get caught up in something. Everyone seems to be talking about this happy coin or safe moon or things like that just maybe don't have all the fundamentals that I would invest in. It's the same as Dogecoin. I don't believe in Dogecoin because it doesn't meet all these criteria for me. And so it is just important that you go through your due diligence, make sure you're happy with what you're putting your money into, because it's so easy to lose it in crypto that it's just not worth it to start throwing your money around the place without doing the research. That is it, to be honest. So I'm really, I'm cautious about cryptocurrency. I have been burned before and learned a lot in it, but now I'm more careful about where I put my money. And I think that if you follow these 4/5 kind of tips in terms of how to go about researching a coin, I think you'll be in a much better place than just this kind of go with your gut, go with your friend's suggestion. But yeah, that's it. There is so much money to be made in cryptocurrency. It's done really well for me this year. I'm hoping actually to move to Portugal now, because it's kind of a great place if you are into cryptocurrency. So moving to Portugal hopefully in the next couple of months, and that's extremely exciting too. So if you'd like to follow along that journey, please subscribe, please follow along, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.